They didn't gamble, live irresponsibly, or chase luxury. From the outside, it looked like they did everything right. They had stable jobs, health insurance, a home savings, and a plan. Yet within a few years, it all unraveled not because of one huge mistake, but because the system slowly closed in around them. This is the story of an American family that followed the rules and still lost. When Mark and Lisa bought their home, it felt like a victory. Mark worked in logistics for a regional company, and Lisa worked part-time while raising their 2 kids. Their income wasn't extraordinary, but it was solid, and they budgeted carefully to avoid unnecessary debt. They believed stability was something you built step by step, and for a while, that belief felt true. Their mortgage payment was manageable, and they drove to used cars. Health insurance came through Mark's job, and they maintained a small emergency fund. Retirement contributions, even if modest, were made regularly, reflecting a normal American middle-class life. But here's the first thing most people don't realize. Doing everything right only works if the system stays fair. The moment it doesn't, there's no backup plan. The first pressure they felt wasn't dangerous, it was subtle. None of it felt catastrophic, but it quietly erased the margin they once had. Savings slowed, and flexibility disappeared. Then Lisa's hours were cut, not eliminated, just reduced enough to hurt, but not enough to qualify for help. Thanks, they adjusted, cut back, used savings temporarily, and told themselves it was temporary. That's how most financial collapses begin, with optimism. Then came the medical issue. Nothing dramatic or life-threatening, but common among millions of Americans every year. An ER visit, a few tests, and some follow-ups seemed manageable since they had insurance. That's what insurance is for, right? But the bill arrived weeks later, and it wasn't just one bill. The total wasn't 6 figures, nor shocking by internet standards, but it was enough to destabilize everything. They paid what they could, put some on a credit card, and promised to catch up next month. Next month didn't help. While medical bills arrived, nothing else paused. The mortgage didn't pause, insurance didn't pause, car payments didn't pause, and life didn't pause. Credit cards temporarily filled the gap, but interest kicked in, and balances grew faster than income. Then Mark's company announced restructuring, reducing his hours and overtime. Again, just enough to hurt, not enough to trigger relief. Stress became constant, not panic, but a quiet pressure that never turned off. Every decision became financial. Every purchase required justification, and every unexpected email caused anxiety. Financial stress changes behavior. Mark stopped sleeping well. Lisa felt guilty spending anything on herself, and the kids noticed the tension. Conversations became shorter, and laughter disappeared. They weren't irresponsible. They were trapped. Then the car needed repairs, unavoidable and essential. Another balance added to the credit card, another future payment. Soon they stopped planning and started reacting. Once you're reactive, you're already losing. What finally broke them wasn't one giant disaster, but accumulation. Late fees, interest, one missed payment triggering another. Credit score drop, raising insurance premiums, and higher premiums increasing monthly expenses. This feedback loop fed on itself. The system works not with sudden collapse, but with slow erosion. They tried to get ahead by calling lenders, negotiating bills, and cutting expenses. But there was nothing left to cut without cutting into life itself. That's the moment many American families reach quietly. When survival replaces progress, and the future becomes something you stop thinking about. Eventually, they sold the house not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Even after fees, taxes, and remaining balances, selling didn't fix everything. It just stopped the bleeding. From the outside, people assumed they mismanaged money or made bad choices. They didn't. They trusted a system that no longer protects stability. The truth most Americans aren't told is that the modern financial system isn't designed to reward responsibility. ES is designed to function despite instability. It assumes people will absorb risk individually and self-correct, and when they can't, it quietly moves on. Healthcare doesn't care if you planned, housing doesn't care if you budgeted, and debt doesn't care if you were careful. The system doesn't collapse when families fall. adapts. Millions of families are living some version of this story right now, not homeless or bankrupt, but exhausted, and one problem away from collapse. This isn't about bad decisions. It's about disappearing margin. When wages stagnate, costs rise, and safety nets shrink, doing everything right stops being enough. The scariest part isn't that this happened to one family. It's that nothing about their story is unusual. If this made you uncomfortable, it's not an accident. It's because the line between stability and collapse is thinner than most want to admit. Once you see that line clearly, you stop blaming individuals and start questioning the system.